everyone in Pink Tech Tribe. Hey, it's Brittany Barlog, your Pink Tech Tribe guru, and I am so excited because today we have a very special guest for you and workshop that we are going to be cultivating for you right in front of your very eyes. I am really excited to welcome our guest here. Her name is Caliah Jinaye, but friends of hers call her, Caliah Jinaye, and friends of hers call her Callie. And Caliah Jinaye is the visionary CEO of Bespoke Design and Development Co., a premier consulting firm specializing in strategic business development, leadership coaching, and brand elevation. With a passion for helping businesses scale with precision and confidence, Caliah brings expertise in fractional CMO services, communication strategy, and high-impact consulting. Known for her dynamic leadership and innovative approach, Caliah has helped countless entrepreneurs and organizations streamline operations, enhance brand positioning, and implement strategies for long-term success. Whether leading high-level corporate initiatives or mentoring emerging business leaders, she is dedicated to turning vision into action and, most importantly, results. I would love to welcome Ms. Caliah Jinaye from Bespoke Design and Development Co. to our stage. Hey, Caliah.
Hey, y'all.
We're so grateful to have you in our Pink Tech Tribe circle. You know, our members of Pink Tech Tribe, they decide what it is that they want to see in our workshops. And the number one thing that they voted for was, how do I build my brand? How do I build a brand? And so I knew that I had to reach out to you because you are the mastermind behind building brands and cultivating so much in your time of your career. And so I would love to just ask you to kind of share with us a little bit about your story of how you got to where you are today, because I know you're not just one business owner. You wear multiple business owner hats, and we'd love to hear about that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for that amazing introduction. I kind of have a little remix, one of my own, if you don't mind. Just give me a few seconds of your time. Confident, cute, and committed to excellence. That's who I'm known to be. Good success and great girlfriends. I know that's what God has in store for me. I'm seeing many new faces and going new places. My journey is just beginning. Maximizing results, building new brands. My team is always winning. I am the amazing, the wonderful, the always got this in a wrap, Caliah Jinaye Apr. Thank you. Thank you.
Woohoo!
Okay,
Get
so
it,
that was a
girl.
little affirmation. We can come
We
to
love an affirmation here.
circle back to
Yes.
that.
Yes.
We'll circle back. But yes, thank you. It's such an honor to be here in the Pink Tech Tribe. And building brands. Wow. I mean, we could be here all night. We could teach a whole semester, right? But in this little nugget of time, I want to share, some things. And so you asked me about I call it multipreneurial, multi-passionate, businesses. So yes, I am the proud CEO and owner of Bespoke Design and Development Co. I am an influencer. I help other companies with their strategic brand management, kind of as an ambassador. I have my own beauty business that I have been managing, gosh, for like 8 years now, 8 or 9 years now, almost a decade in the beauty industry. And I always like to say I'm the chief experience officer of my household. I'm a mom and a wife of two babies. So I guess if you add the husband, maybe it's three. So yes, there's a lot of different things going on. I wear many different tiaras, so to speak, but I love it. Everything I do kind of feeds off of a different part of my personality and who I am, and it's always a blast. So thank you.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about, when you're in the process of just building a brand in general, like where do you even begin? Because I think for a lot of our girls that we have in Pink Tech Tribe, we may have some people who already are in a, branded business, and then we maybe have some others that they have one business, but they're ready to cultivate another and be significant in their own right. So how would you kind of describe that process? You either have one and you're building, or you are just starting from scratch altogether. How do you determine, what do you do first?
Sure. Well, it's important to make sure we're using the same definition of a word, right? Any kind of workshop or kind of training I do. So when we're thinking about what a brand is, sometimes they're like, oh, well, Nike or oh, McDonald's, right? Those are brand names, right? The names of the company and kind of what you feel when you think of those things. And so when it comes to creating a brand, you have to think it's really the outward expression of something that's inside, right?
Mm,
It's bringing
wow.
bringing
Yeah.
the intangible out into the real world. And so how do you go about doing that? Well, I love the name of the workshop because you kind of put some thought into this, I'm thinking, and the workshop kind of gives it away if you really think about it. Define, elevate, and stand out. So you kind of have to determine what is it that you want displayed in the world when someone looks at you in that particular realm, or when you're promoting that particular business or that talent that you have. What is it that you want them to identify with immediately? And then you kind of work backwards to put those things in the forefront. So you're kind
Okay.
of like using some Jedi mind control, if you will, to put ideas into other people's heads about what you want them to think about that brand or about you in that aspect, right? So to
Yeah.
kind of give you an example, there's a beautiful picture of me in in the upper corner of the frame there, and I'm sitting here right now. And the main thing, in my opinion, and it's intentional that is in common, is I have a tiara on, right? That's a part of my personal brand. It's an outward expression of how I feel about myself internally and how I view others.
Mhm.
And it's not the same tiara, right? I don't have on the same makeup. That was a whole photo shoot that was done in my home. I was pregnant with my son. I'm the same person, right? But if you were to look at, the me in the frame and the picture up there, what is, like I said, what's in common? My hair is not done exactly the same. My makeup's not done exactly the same. It's not the same tiara. She's got on a black shirt and she's wearing a tiara. I'm identifiable. And it seems kind of basic, right? Like those things, but when you're consistent, that's what builds that brand and that recognition and that trust over time. Did I
Mhm.
answer your question?
I love that. Yep. And I'm jotting down notes, especially. And, speaking of questions, we did actually have a question from one of our Tech Tribe members. Miss Suzanne asked a question yesterday, I believe, and she said, so what are the key elements that make a brand memorable? And how can I identify the unique qualities that set mine apart? So, memorable brand, like what are the elements that make it? And how do I set my brand apart?
Sure. So, in terms of being memorable, people remember things and other people that are genuine,
Mhm.
right? Like if I wore a tiara in my head and it was just gimmicky, and I didn't embody what I felt it meant to have a tiara or even sometimes a full-fledged crown in my head, it would not resonate with those around me because it would just feel arbitrary or, just because. And that's not in alignment with what I'm putting out there for people to get to know me, build a relationship, and eventually trust me enough to either do business with me or refer me to someone else. Because there's a huge trust factor, right? That's the three pillars of business and recognition. If you didn't know this, is like, know, and trust. People do business the most with brands they like, know, and trust. Usually in that order. Sometimes you might do a business that you trust to do the job, even if you don't like the person. Occasionally it's like, oh, I can't stand them, but I know they're going to come through, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But if they found someone they liked, they would probably give them a chance. So it's a trifecta of the like, no, trust factor. So I'm not encouraging everyone to, get a gimmick, so to speak. You do need ideally something that can get someone's attention, right? Which is you kind of puts you in that marketing aspect. But when you're kind of in the beginning stages or you're figuring out, like, I want to stand out, it has to be an extension of you. It has to be something that you connect with, that you're passionate about. If it's a color, if it's a theme song, if it's a slogan, a phrase, um, an an item, if you will, something that lives outside of you that other people can see. They can't always see your vision, right? You don't get an elevator pitch to every single person.
Mhm.
Ideally for growth, right? You want to scale. So it's something, like I said, that's um, an icon, right? The root word of iconic, an icon, something tangible in the real world that you can associate yourself with or attach to. like I was going to say, like I said, a cause or something that you're passionate about. And then maybe someone will ask you, well, why did you choose a cat? Oh, well, why did you choose this as your, logo, as your mascot, as your theme? You'll have more time to explain it that way. But, just to kind of circle back, that is what helps you to eventually stand out. You have to have a connection to whatever it is that you're building your brand around. And a lot of times you'll see companies, they'll put out their pillars, or they'll have keywords. It'll be like community and integrity. And those are their
Mhm.
values that they're communicating, that they want to add to associate with their brand, again, to get
Right.
you to like, know, and trust them ultimately so they can get your money.
Right. And that second part of her question too is when it sets things apart, I would love for you to really go into kind of your story a little bit more. I know your story of how much you have been successful in a direct sales world of your business. And tell me a little bit more about how that maybe built your foundation to what you do today. I think that that's going to be inspirational for some of our Pink Tech Tribe members because they may be already in a business field and they want to elevate and try something else outside of the field. And so, what would you suggest, or how would you, represent to them of how to build that brand, maybe with the foundation that they already have?
Sure, absolutely. So I will say I have a great love and adoration for the direct sales company I've been a part of. And when you think about it, I was competing, if you will, from a business standpoint, fun and friendly, competing against millions of other women in this same company, right? And so I had this mindset of, well, I know there's enough for all of us. So it wasn't about being better than them. It was kind of always about learning how to be a better version of myself. So over this decade of being in that particular business, I learned to grow. I learned to, okay, how do I stand out? What is it about me that's going to make someone shop with me as opposed to their coworker or their neighbor, or you know what I mean? How will they connect with me? How would I do my presentation just a little bit different, right? To where the outcome is this, they're getting the same information, they're getting the same access to the same product, but now they're getting part of me. They're getting to experience me and capitalizing on the things I like the most about myself. Like, let's just be honest, right? If I'm going to be in something, I want to be passionate about it, and people can sense how much you like what you're doing, especially in a personal business such as this, direct sales and network marketing. You're
Mhm.
not just selling a product, right? You're selling an experience, and you're selling the opportunity for someone to be in your presence and be in your space, because people have choices, right? And a lot of time we're pressed for time. We're in a time of our lives, in an era where we don't have a whole lot of extra time, right? Someone is either wanting to make extra money, or they just want to hurry up and get their product, or whatever it is. So you have to be fast, fun, and friendly, right? So learning how to do all of those things, building my skill, my technical skill to actually sell the product first before trying to add flair. I remember early on, I was trying to do all the flair and then was stumbling trying to answer pricing questions and basic product information. So that didn't work, right? Trial and error was huge. But once I got it down, I did all my courses, got all my certificates, all the trainings, right? I watched other people that were successful and how they explained things and how they were engaging and how they, sold the experience along with the product. And that allowed me to kind of put different pieces together, a little bit from this leader, a little bit from what I saw over here, a little bit from what I saw on YouTube, and make my own recipe, right? And then I had a great product, not just from what the company was giving me, but now I paired it with the experience of having it through me. And so
Mhm.
people would tell me like, "Oh, your class is so much fun," or "I like it when you do this training," or whatever, because I had the confidence, right? So sometimes that's overlooked, right? We think, "Oh, we just fake it till you make it." Well, you need to practice, right? You need to get in front of the mirror, and you need to be comfortable looking at yourself. You need to get comfortable with the sound of your voice, right? Because they're not doing face. There are faceless accounts, and that's like a new thing. But in reality, if you're walking down the street and you say you're a beauty professional, you need to look like you use the product you're selling.
Yeah.
That goes back to like the trust. And in this particular company, I let me just say this too. I've done several direct sales businesses, right? So there's one business where they want to make your home smell good. Perfect. So every time you come into my house needs to smell good, right? There's one business where they want to help you with health and wellness products and tighten up your skin and do whatever. Okay, so I need to be doing it myself. In the beauty business, this my kind of where I landed, where I've been the longest. It's I need to look like I have a skincare routine. I need to look like I might know how to do some eyebrows or I wear some lip gloss. Not overdo it. But if you're like, I'm in a beauty business, but I don't like to wear makeup, great. You should have the most flawless looking, moisturized, you want to be a product of what it is you're selling, is my point, right? Not to get overly specific, but just to kind of give you some examples. That again will help you with your confidence. Once you have the confidence to say, okay, I can do that, you master it in whatever direct sales or a network marketing company you're currently in, those skills are transferable. And that's what I found in my life, where I said, okay, I've built up a great organization within this company. Let me see if I could do it over here under my own name and my other passions, right? So now I've taken myself into different environments. I've taken myself doing a different product, but the steps that I used to follow are still the same. How I
Mhm.
follow up with leads or how I confirm appointments, those skills I learned in my direct sales experience have carried me and helped me to be successful in my other businesses and in my other brands.
I love that. That's so helpful for so many of our viewers. Actually, I'm getting a ton of comments. Amen. Yes. Like, know, and trust. That's good. Like, there's so much feedback that's coming through right now that I know you may not be able to see at the moment.
It's all good.
But I promise, Callie, it's hitting. They're retaining the message. And so, what would be one piece of advice for someone who they want to try something new altogether? Can you maybe speak a little bit more about what you do in Bespoke, and kind of talk about, like, that was a step in a direction that has nothing to do with your beauty business, has nothing to do with direct sales, but it really does impact leaders in a similar capacity. And so maybe could you share, what would be your piece of advice for someone who's looking into branching out into something additionally in their direct sales business, and what you would tell them or what you would share with them about gaining that confidence you talked about.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, it comes from I'm multi passionate, and I know I'm not the only one. There's a lot of us out there that have a lot of talents and skills. So you have to think when it comes to a business, where am I going to spend my time and what's my return going to be? So
Mm.
Bespoke Design and Development Co., we do a lot of graphic design. It started off as graphic design. Can you make this flyer? Can you make me a logo? Can you design a website? Can you do an audit? I was doing all these different things. Now, there was a bridge from my direct sales business to this business where people started to notice, oh, Callie makes really good flyers. Let me ask her to make them for my team or for my area or for my event, right? Or when they had a big announcement, I would make animated, I would get really into it. Okay. So then I said, okay, let me take this to the next level. And because I had experience moving up the career path, right, or the ladder of success, or however you want to call it, I was skilled at moving up. I had to determine my own ladder of success. I had to use my time management skills that I learned in my direct sales business and say, okay, I need to time block and now add in some additional time to structure what I want to do and promote
Right.
this this avenue or the stream of income for myself. And so the transition was pretty easy because it was a tangent, right? It went side by side with what I was doing and the relationships, I should say, I was building in my um, direct sales business.
Hmm.
But like you said, the skills are completely different. I found something that I really enjoyed doing that I could see myself spending time doing that wasn't overly taxing, that didn't cause me any extra overhead, maybe some software subscriptions, and that was it. So kind of putting my business brain on, making sure that my new thing wasn't going to cost me, too much in time or investment, and it wasn't. And I just decided, okay, well, let me go for it. I'm making flyers and doing things for other people. Let me put something together about this. And I circulated it, right? I started to market it a little bit more because it was just favors and word of mouth initially. And then now it has grown about 5 years later into a whole, corporation that does fractional marketing and other things and skills that I've grown over time. So I
Mhm.
would say what you pay attention to grows, right? We
Mhm.
know tracking numbers grow and things like that, but really what you invest your time in and what you put your effort in, it does have a return again when you do it strategically. And so if you find yourself you have another passion, I would just encourage someone, it is possible. You can do it all. You may not be able to do it all at the same time. So when you look at your life and you say, okay, I want to balance, I don't really like that word, but it's commonly used. I want to fit all these different things in, be realistic and give yourself grace. I've built a corporation over the last 5 years and it has not been butterflies and rainbows the entire time. Okay. You will need to learn, how to delegate, how to lift other people up. And when you're building something from scratch, it can be, very challenging because you don't have, you know, policies already made for you, prices already set for you, things that exist in a company that you just kind of bought into, or you got a kit, or you got access to things that are already created. So I would want to encourage someone to go ahead and step out. Also, do your research, see what the potential competitors are for that field that you want to go in, that business or that brand that you want to create. But ultimately, this day and age, there's really no reason why you can't go for it even if you start small and grow bigger, because there will always be part of you that will wonder, what if you had pursued it? If you're anything like me, at least, you'll wonder like, oh, could it have gotten bigger? Or maybe you'll just be more satisfied because you have now an outlet for a passion that you have that can also generate money for you on the side.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that you are, um, you know, how do I describe it? It's like stacking the passion versus separating the passion. I
Right.
think that that's what I really like about what your journey has described, because, a lot of the women in the pink tech tribe world right now, there are so many passions. And what I love about our pink tech tribe community is that we encourage whatever venture you're on, whatever role you're operating in, whatever your technological skills, we are all coming together and we're building this for each other because there is that sense of community. Um, Kelly, I'm loving this. Now, is there anything that I've maybe missed in the last half hour that you would like to really? I know time flew, right? Time flew. Is there anything that I might have missed that you would like to make sure that our audience knows? And before, while I let you think about that, we also have a lot of women who are saying multi passionate, loving all of this, all of it. Like you're getting such great feedback, Hallie. So, is there anything that you would like any of our pink tech tribe to know?
Yeah. Well, first of all, before I forget, I want everyone to know in the Pink Tech Tribe, I have some visuals, some slides with some notes and some more, professionally worded tips for you that will be available in the group. Okay. So make sure you keep a lookout for those. I'll drop those in there for y'all so you can review and learn and study to grow your brand on your own time. So you don't have to rewind. So I want to make sure I say that. But also, I want to emphasize something I glazed over. uh, I started a beauty business when, I was naturally beautiful, but I made no serious effort into my skincare or any kind of makeup. I just want to put that out there. And so what I realized was, in order to personally brand myself and to scale to the level that I wanted to and to achieve the level of success I felt I deserved, that I was willing to work for, that I deserved, I wanted to refine myself. And now we call it personal branding. But at that time, years ago, it was just, I need a makeover, right? I want to represent myself in a better way. So if there's I feel like there's someone out there, you might be feeling stuck, right? You might be feeling you're in a habit of how you dress or how you speak or how you do your makeup or whatever your hairstyle is. But I would encourage you to find find a visual destination, right? So we know life is a journey, right? But you want to find a visual destination. What do I mean by that is, you might be into vision boarding or making collages or doing different things like that. And I promise there's a whole point to this, so just stay with me. There are going to be different people in your life, not just in the company that you're currently in, but your life, whether you've met them or not, but it helps if you have, who have different qualities that you would like to have. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to do the work to get to where you want to go. Now, this is not the same as like coveting someone else. Oh, she's so charismatic. I could never. That's not what I'm talking about. You see someone and they speak a certain way. They have a certain posture. It resonates with you and you would like to do that. Go toward that direction, okay? Do some research, watch their YouTube videos, study them, work on yourself because you found a blueprint. You see something in a magazine or you have a friend or someone that you know who has a particular skill, and this is an outward facing skill, okay? Switching up your hair, switching up a little bit of makeup, whatever that looks like for you. I personally grabbed someone one day and was like, "Hey, I really like how you carry yourself, and I want to do X, Y, and Z like you do." And she was like caught off guard. But now I can say that I was glad that I exercised that little bit of courage because it helped me get on the track to where I am now, and it led to so many other different ways I was able to level up. So it's a really long-winded way of encouraging someone who's listening right now that it's okay if there are people around you and you want to grow and you see other versions of yourself that you could be like. You just need to have the courage to speak up and have that person help you. There is nothing wrong. You're not supposed to wake up and already know how to shape your eyebrow or what colors are best for your skin tone or what hair color what haircut is the best for your cheekbone structure. You don't already know these things, and that's okay. But it is your responsibility to identify them and work on it, right? Do some research, like I said, and then you'll be able to gain confidence. Once you have some confidence, then you can build and have more consistency. And then once you have that consistency, you have a reputation, and
Mm,
that is the result of what your brand is, because
yep.
really your brand is not just what you're putting out there, it's what the other people are getting from it. So you might
Yes.
think you're all that and it's all tight and buttoned up, but in reality, it's not. And you're wondering why the results aren't there. It's because your audience is telling you they don't really know what's going on. And they might like you, they might know you, but they don't trust that you're going to get that job done. And so you might have to figure out where your gap is. And like I said, it just may take some looking around, some asking around. You might have to toughen up because you might get some answers that might catch you off guard, and it's not personal.
Oh,
But if you ask the right people and they give you some answers, I promise you it's just for you to grow. And you'll look back later and be like, wow, I'm so glad I did that because now I feel stronger. I feel more confident. I want to push my business. I want to get more clients. All of those things, you'll just feel better. You'll like just sit up and be smiling, and you'll just be like, I know I did the work. I don't care. So
mhm.
I wanted to make sure I said those things.
I love it. You literally brought it full circle because it's so true that when you are doing the work, showing up, being consistent, doing the same things consistently over and over again that can allow the trust factor to come in, then you're building your brand on that reputation that you do it over and over the same way over and over and over again. It's like having integrity for everything that you do with intentionality for your brand and for the purpose and drive of your brand. Callie, do you mind if I ask you one more question from one of our live
Okay,
viewers?
of course.
Lori asks, do you think creative content makes your business stand out? How and why creative content stand out?
I think so. The short answer is yes. It depends. And here's why: because creativity is subjective, right? So you really need to figure out who your target audience is and who you're trying to speak to. So if you're in a business or your target audience is like very serious and professional, they're not necessarily concerned about what the latest TikTok trend is to reach them. So you can spend all this time trying to keep up with the algo or to do, things that are very, unique and all these different colors, but they really just wanted black, white, and gold. They want the information. So it depends on who you're speaking to because they could be lost and you could be feeling like I put all this effort into this campaign or I did all of this, but it didn't quite hit. It wasn't as successful. So you want to make sure, like I said, creativity is subjective. So you want to make sure you're speaking to who you want to hear you, who you want to take action on whatever it is. And then once you have that down, oh yeah, now it's like we've gotten so used to saying think outside the box or color outside the lines, but I prefer to think of it more like driving and getting to the destination. I don't need to be all over all four lanes of the highway. I just need to be in the lane I want to be in to get to where I want to go. Right. And so sometimes you kind of have to take that approach of, all right, if I know the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, let me get to it. Now, if you are in a fashion business or design, interior design, or, different things like that, by all means, your video production, however you want to do it, you want to tell a story, great. I will also say, and just to be quick, you should have a mixture, right? So you might have some videos, some posts that are, articles or establish some thought leadership or some funny jokes or have a meme. You want to have a mixture because you never know who you might capture or the mood that someone might be in, that particular day. So when it comes to standing out, I would say have a variety of the different ways you communicate that same message. But again, you always want to have your target audience in mind to make sure you get the result that you desire.
I love that. That's really, really helpful. So, to answer Lori's question, it's basically having a mixture of things that can resonate with your desired target audience. So, knowing exactly who that person is, and then knowing kind of those hot spots of how you're going to target that person. Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love that. Oh, so good. Everyone is giving you so much praise right now. Suzanne also said, thank you for answering my question. We are all unique. Sani says, a visual destination. Yes, Callie, that was genius. Sani also says, know your audience. Oh, they're getting so much out of it. So, y'all, I want you to drop into the comment section right now what has been your biggest takeaway from Callie? Because y'all, she's in the group with us. So she's going to be able to go in there and see these comments after. Please affirm what you've learned and what you've taken away from Callie. Callie, one of my favorite things is what you said at the very beginning, having a visual representation of what's internally represented. Whoa, girl. Woo, that was like, I jot that one down real fast. That was incredible nugget of wisdom. And my last thing for you is how do we connect with you? How do we find you? How do we build our brand alongside you? So where do we find you at, girl?
Absolutely. Well, as you mentioned, I am in the group, and that's with my personal page, Caliah Jinaye Apr. And there you get beauty, you get business, you get motherhood, kind of all of it in there. I think it's fun. You might think it's a little bit too much. But the company, we have some new social accounts. So Bespoke Design and Development Co. is on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And like I said, as far as my profile, I welcome follow requests, friend requests on Facebook and Instagram as well. You can find me on Instagram, Caliah Jinaye Today. I believe there's a few underscores in there, but I will, when I drop the resources, I'll add some links in there so y'all can make it easier for y'all to follow me.
I love it. Awesome, Callie. Well, we're going to go ahead and let you go. We're going to wave goodbye to Miss Caliah Jinaye. Thank you so much for all your tips and wisdom. And
Thank
I'm going to
you.
be sharing with you guys a couple of things that I need you to remember for the end of our time here together. Number one, we have our next workshop that's coming up, everyone. The next workshop is going to be on Thursday, March 13th. 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. And this is going to be all about monetizing your Facebook group workshop. From community to cash flow, the smart way to monetize your Facebook group, where you're not going to be overly exhausted and trying to come up with content and then throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping and praying that something sticks. This is going to be your solution into making sure that we have the right tools for your Facebook group to stay monetizable. This is going to be held by myself. And again, it's on the 13th. And you guys, because you are watching us here live right now, you're already in our Facebook group. You do not have to go anywhere. You don't have to register anywhere. Just set a reminder in your alarm for your calendar that day and stay present with us as we're building these workshops twice a month. So we are really excited and looking forward to the next one. And the most important thing, y'all see this little thing over here? It says go like the Facebook page. We have a fan page as well. We have a fan page that drops content for women who we think could benefit from Pink Tech Tribe. And so if you've had a benefit from Pink Tech Tribe, we want you to find the other women in business who could absolutely benefit from Pink Tech Tribe too. Bring them into our community, cultivate a community that's going to be of like-minded women to celebrate our businesses alongside each other. I vision Pink Tech Tribe being every industry across the board of powerful women who are wanting to sharpen their skill set for their business sake. So I cannot wait to make sure, we're going to make sure that we have lots of more women coming through to really celebrate them as we're building our community in Pink Tech Tribe. So we hope you enjoyed today's workshop with Miss Caliah Jinaye. Make sure you check out our Pink Tech Tribe group for the resources she's about to drop for all about building your brand. And we will see you guys very soon in Pink Tech Tribe. And that's all I got for y'all. So bye for now. Goodbye, Pink Tech Tribe. Have a great Thursday and let's make it a great weekend.